Hey G-Fans, GojiFan93 here, and I have a new movie review for you guys. Today I want to be taking a look at the final Gamera film, Gamera the Brave. Now also first, I know that the lighting in here is really bad. That's because I'm kind of doing this late at night. I just got finished watching the movie and I wanted to do this review while it's fresh in my mind. So I don't really want to wait till tomorrow. So anyways, so just excuse the bad lighting, you know, whatever. Alright, so on to the movie, Gamera the Brave. Okay, so this is the final Gamera film in the Millennium series for Gamera, and it's not really the Millennium series, it's more just like the Millennium film, because there was only one Gamera film for his Millennium series, or whatever you want to call it. This movie came out in 2006, so it was 2 years after Godzilla Final War, so Godzilla took his break, and Gamera came up and decided to have one more movie. Now, at first, a lot of Gamera fans, I've heard a lot of mixed results. I think this movie is kind of the same way that Godzilla Final Wars is, where it's kind of split the fandom half and half, where some people just hate it, some people love it. But for me, I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was an alright film. Now, you know, if you guys saw my previous review of the Showa Gamera films, you'll know that I basically hated them, except for the first 3 films. You know, the first Gamera film was, I thought it was pretty good. Gamera vs. Barugon was pretty, you know, decent. And then Gamera vs. Gyaos was alright. But the rest of them, I thought it was complete waste of time, complete crap. And I've never really crapped on any Showa monster films ever. I've, you know, because I know what they are, I know that you have to, that they're, you know, cheaply, you know, they're not as high tech with special effects and all that, but when it came to those Gamera movies, yeah, those were crap. So, and then after seeing the Gamera trilogy, because I've already seen the Gamera trilogy, I've already done a review of those, so if you want to check that out, just, you know, search it up, you can find it. And so now I'm on to the last Gamera movie, so Gamera the Brave. Now, first off, what's really interesting about this movie is that it's definitely a big difference from the Gamera trilogy. It's not dark, it's not gritty, it kind of goes back to the Showa where it has a lot of kids in it and all that stuff, but the difference is here, at least in my opinion, the kids are not annoying. They're actually pretty good actors. I actually enjoyed the kids, especially the lead role. I thought he did a really good job. Also, the supporting cast, I thought the supporting cast was pretty good. They all did their roles, they all fitted pretty nice, and all of them, they all had really good acting. I thought it was really good. Also, I did watch this in the Japanese audio, of course, because I wanted to hear the actual actors, not a voiceover, so always got to go with the Japanese version, or the Japanese audio at least. Now, Gamera himself, big difference. Basically, you know, this movie's kind of old, so this might be a little bit of a spoiler, but if you don't, close your ears or don't watch the rest of the video. Basically, at the beginning of the film, Gamera dies. He basically self-destructs so that he can fight off the rest of the Gyaos. And it's weird, this movie just starts off like that. Like, it just starts where Gamera's fighting this, you know, a bunch of these Gyaos, and it kind of makes me wonder, it's like, was this continuing from the third Gamera film in the Heisei trilogy? Because, you know, at the end of that film, it had an army of Gyaos coming at Gamera to fight him, but this kind of seems like it's in its own, you know, it's not continuity or whatever, but yeah, Gamera just can't fight off all these Gyaos, so he just blows himself up and takes them all with him, so very interesting with that. So basically, this, you know, the kid, the main, I guess the main protagonist, he finds this red kind of stone-looking thing, and it has an egg in it. And when he does it, he takes it, and right when he takes it, a little turtle pops out, and basically this is Gamera, or like the new Gamera. But what the kid calls it is Toto. And this is what kind of a lot of fans are annoyed about, is that this Gamera isn't really Gamera. It's like Toto, it's like a dumbed down version of Gamera. He's cutesy looking, he's not threatening looking at all. But, you know, considering the Showa Gamera films and how this film is trying to harken back to the Showa, I think it's fine. I think the look is alright. Gamera's adorable while he's fighting Zetas. And this brings us to the main enemy monster of this film, Zetas. Or Zetas, I think they say Zetas. This monster I thought was really cool. He's not super unique, he's not super crazy like the other Gamera monsters are, but he's a very cool looking monster. I love this guy. And he's very violent. I mean, he, like, when he, this first scene when he pops in, he goes in, he destroys the city, and he starts just chewing, like just eating people. I mean, there's a really grotesque scene where there's a bunch of these people that they're all like, you know, kind of bottlenecked up against like some building rubbles, and they can't escape, and Zetas is just right above them, and he just chows down on them, and you see like blood in his teeth and stuff. It was pretty violent for, I'd say, for a kids movie like this is. But yeah, so Zetas is really cool. He's kind of like a mix of a dinosaur and a kind of lizard kind of thing. I mean, you know, it's not a rip-off of Godzilla by any means, but the one attack, the one ability that he has that's pretty cool is that his tongue is like a spear. It just pops out and it can stab, and he stabbed Gamera a couple times. And I'm gonna call Toto Gamera. I said Gamera. I have Gamera on the mind because of whatever. But Gamera, I'm gonna call him Gamera, not Toto, because he is Gamera. It's just the kid called him Toto because the kid's backstory is that his mother died in a car accident, and his mother called him Toto. So he's related onto his pet turtle, calling him Toto. Now, I thought this film was adorable for what it was. It was it's the right kind of movie to show your kids. It's very kid friendly, except for the part where Zetas is eating people. But you know. But it's definitely more age appropriate than the Gamera trilogy, because that's really dark and intense. This is more lighthearted and more friendly. It's actually, I mean, for the first half of the movie, it's pretty much just setting up the characters. A lot of, you know, the kids are the kid is experiencing, he's playing with, you know, Toto, his pet, you know, the turtle, which is Gamera, and I thought it was just adorable. That's all I can really say about this film. It's just adorable. And the beginning of the film reminds me a lot of Ponyo. And if you guys know what Ponyo is, it's basically I forgot the. I should know this, but a really renowned anime artist or director. Basically, a film about a boy. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but a boy who finds like this fish lady or whatever, fish girl, whatever. It's like his pet, you know, whatever. But it just reminds me of that movie. So if you guys know what that movie is, hopefully you can get that connection that I got with this one. So it's just kind of what I saw with that film. The little turtle. Okay, so I'm gonna call it Toto because when he's little, I think of it as a Toto, but when he grows up, it's Gamera. But so when Gamera's small, being Toto, it's the most adorable thing I've ever seen. He's so cute. I want a turtle now. I want a little pet turtle because of this movie, because it just is so adorable. There's like a scene where his neighbor, which is kind of like this girl who I think has a crush on him. I don't know, but there was some weird love interest going on, I think. But it wasn't explored much. But the girl like notices the turtle, and I guess he could fly, so he's kind of hovering, and she sees Toto, and she's like, ah! She screams, and then the camera zooms in to Toto, and he's like, eh! And there's like just a little turtle like scream or something like that, and he flies back. It was just so cute. Like the first part of this film was so cute, but when they introduced Zetas, it got a little bit more intense, and yeah, but you know, other than that, I like the story. It was very simple. It was kid friendly. Like I said, it was adorable. This whole, like, you know, it was just a nice movie. Let's see, the music of the movie, not as memorable as the Heisei trilogy, that's for sure. But it definitely has a character, unlike the Showa films where it was just nothing but crap. This film does have a good soundtrack. Like if I was able to find the soundtrack, I would buy it. So that's how much I like the soundtrack of this film. But it's not as good as the Heisei trilogy. I mean, obviously the Heisei trilogy blows this movie out of the water, but I'm just saying this movie on its own, the soundtrack is pretty good. Let's see, what else? The special effects, they're definitely updated. I mean, they're kind of on the same with the Heisei trilogy. It's kind of the same look. I mean, it looks really good, especially on Blu-ray. I watched this on Blu-ray and watched it on my 1080p TV, and it looked really good, crystal clear. But you know, there were some parts where you could tell it was a green screen or it was heavily CGI'd. But then there were other parts that looked really, really good. Like there were some parts where Gamera was taken away by the military, and they actually used like a gigantic animatronic turtle to interact with the rest of the actors. I thought that was pretty cool. They didn't just use like a CGI turtle. They actually used a gigantic animatronic turtle. I thought that was really cool. So the practical effects, I think, were pretty good. They didn't, it didn't mix well with CGI. I mean, like any of these, I guess, modern day kaiju films, if it's with pseudomation and CGI mixed, it doesn't do well. But you know, it was appealing to the eye. Definitely, definitely better than the Showa films. Yeah, but you know, some of the things in the Heisei trilogy look a little bit better than this one. But oh well. So yeah, I mean, as you guys can see, I'm not angry at this one. I actually really enjoyed this movie. I really did. I would watch it again and again. I thought it was very enjoyable. I liked it. And I know a lot of you guys were, like thinking, oh my god, he's gonna hate this one because, it's, but this was a breath of fresh air compared to watching the Showa series. It was like, I resent that Showa series so much that this is such a breath of fresh air, and I really like the film too. I'm not just saying like, well, at least it's better than the Showa. I'm saying that this is actually, this film on its own, and not just as a kaiju film, as a film in general, I think it's very enjoyable. It's not the best film ever. There's not a lot of monster fighting, especially when Gamera does fight Zetas. It does cut to a lot of the human parts, but it kind of reminds me of the way Godzilla 2014 did it, where it showed a lot of human parts and they did skip to the monster fighting, but then it went right back to the human parts, and I'm fine with that. I thought it was well paced. It directed well. The special effects were good. Soundtrack was good. There wasn't really anything I dislike. Oh, actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, there was one thing that I think everybody across the board will agree that it was a little bit annoying that Gamera's roar was not in this film. Neither was his sound effects. They didn't really have anything. Like, when Gamera's flying around in his he's flying around with in his, I guess, saucer form or whatever. You know how it has that sound effect? It has like his sound, from the Showa series, the Heisei series, they kept that sound, but in this one they didn't have it. And the biggest thing was that his roar was just this generic dinosaur roar that we've all heard. It's like a stock. It's like a stock sound effect. Gamera's roar was not in this. The kind of tire screeching roar that he has wasn't used. I don't know why. That was a little bit disappointing that they didn't have that, but. Other than that, it didn't bother me because the rest of the film was good. I thought it was all right. So, yeah, but overall, I enjoyed the film. I really did. I'm really happy I picked it up. I'm really happy I finally saw it, and it is better than the Showa film in my opinion. But hey, the Heisei trilogy is still the top. It's still the best. But I think that this film is really good, and yeah, really good. So that's it. That's my review for the film. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I am done watching all the Gamera films. So maybe I might do. I'm not promising anything, but maybe. Some top 10s of Gamera stuff might start to come out because I've seen the whole series of Gamera. So we'll see. I don't know. Don't request anything. I'll just, figure it out on my own. But we'll see what happens in the future, alright? So that is it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Stay big, G fans.